A young athlete was assaulted during a marathon, a 5K marathon, by a man who apparently thought the young teen was trying to rob him and his wife. Now, this is reported by the Washington Post. Now, the teen's name is Chase Coleman, and Chase Coleman is autistic. He's also black. Now, he's also fully nonverbal, according to his mother, Clarice Coleman. Now, she encouraged him to go and do sports. Now, he tried out for a lot of different sports, and he found that running kind of was his thing. It was what he was most happy doing. Now, Clarice Coleman, being a good mother, went to every meet, scouting the race courses ahead of time and marking where he might get lost or confused, which, look, happens to him. Happened to him pretty often, according to the story. Now, during a race in Rochester, New York, while running with his team from his local high school, he ended up getting lost during this race. Now, according to the Post, Coleman was waiting for her son to appear at one part of the race course, but he never did, so she ended up going and looking for him. She said, "I started walking that direction, and I'm screaming his name out. 'Keep going, Chase.' And a young lady came up to me and said, 'Are you looking for one of your runners?' And she said, 'Yes.' 'Well, I saw one of your runners, some man just went out and assaulted him.' Now, she found him, but as a witness, identified as Colin Thompson, told the police she saw Chase running in the middle of the road. Now, she said that an older white man got out of the car and approached Chase and pushed him to the ground, yelling, 'Get out of here.' Another witness, Chris Van Meter, told Syracuse.com that he had just finished his bicycle ride when he saw the same thing. Quote, 'I see a grown man, who is quite tall and fairly heavy, exit the vehicle and give this young man a shove that puts him back 10 feet and flat on his butt. Like, just shoved him across the road. The kid didn't seem to be doing anything but standing there. Obviously had nothing in his hand and weighed all of 130 pounds. This guy was easily twice that.' So here's this kid, weighs, $130? According to the story. This guy, twice his size, comes out and says, get out of here, and shoves him. Why? Well, witnesses got the man's license plate number, and the police were able to track down this man, who was 57-year-old Martin McDonald. Now, McDonald, when asked, according to the police report, admitted to pushing Chase to the ground. When the deputy asked why he did that, well, you're going to love this. He thought Chase was going to mug his wife and take their purse. Huh. Now, wait a minute here. Like I said, this kid running in the middle of the road. Stopped in the middle of the road, okay? Got lost, is obviously confused, is wearing a runner's outfit with a number painted on him and everything. And this guy's like, I got to go push this guy over because he's going to rob me and my wife. I wonder why he would think that. I think we all know. He's a young black kid who's in the middle of the road. He's not where he's supposed to be. Of course. Now, the incident report read, McDonald's wife was sitting in the front passenger seat at the time of the incident when the deputy asked him why he thought that McDonald told him why he thought that this kid was going to rob him. Well, McDonald told him that youth had broken into his car recently and that incident had crossed his mind. McDonald went on to say that Chase wasn't responding to telling him to move out of the road. Well, that's, of course, he's a autistic, mentally ill man. And look, McDonald had no way of knowing that, for sure, of course. It's not like you can tell mental illness, but nonetheless, he is standing in the middle of the road in a track uniform. That might give you a clue that maybe something is wrong. Hey, maybe I should get some help. Maybe I should call somebody. Instead, he's like, well, he's going to rob my wife. I better shove him. Okay. Now, Clarice Coleman, Chase's mother, isn't buying McDonald's explanation. She told the Post, quote, "That's a lie. Chase don't even know how to defend himself. He could barely ride a bike." Now, Chase was also in a uniform. He had a number pinned to him. How do you think he was out there trolling to steal your car? You can't tell me that it wasn't because my son was black. There were Asian kids, there were Caucasian kids, but you picked the black kid to say, that crossed my mind. The earlier robbery. She also says, my son is a minor. McDonald is a grown man. He put his hands on my son. I'm going to press charges. Of course I want to press charges. So, now, that makes sense. That's what, I don't know what I would do in that situation. But I would think that pressing charges would definitely be part of that. Because it was an unwarranted assault. Now, when she went to do that, Rochester City Court Judge Carolyn Morrison sent a letter to the Colemans denying their application for a warrant, saying that McDonald would not be charged with second-degree harassment, something that I didn't really know was much of a thing, but apparently it is a thing, and it's a thing that McDonald is not being charged with, even though he assaulted somebody half his size who was 15. Great. So now, I hate to do this, but of course, I wonder what had happened if the situation had been reversed. If it had been a young white kid with autism and an older black man who shoved that kid. I wonder what would have happened. Think about that for a minute. Now, as for Chase, there's obviously a little bit of damage from this. His mother said that a week after he was attacked, Chase refused to go to his team practices and skipped running in his last meet of the season. Coleman said she also watched her son turn in his uniform to his coach, who encouraged him to change his mind. But of course, because of the incident, he refused. Coleman told the Post about the joy her son had found in running after several attempts at other sports. Chase, he said, had developed his own little family with his team, with all of them, boys and girls, showing up to something called a bro mitzvah, which is kind of awesome, when he turned 13. That is sad. Now, because of this whole incident, this young kid doesn't even want to practice anymore. And look, he doesn't understand what happened. He doesn't understand. I was just running. And then, boom, out of nowhere, this guy comes and shoves me. For no reason. He's got autism, and all he was doing was running with his team. Yeah, he got lost. Ended up somewhere where he shouldn't have been, right? And instead of helping him, trying to figure this out, this guy immediately thinks, oh, they're going to carjack me. This black kid's going to come after me and my wife, and he's going to carjack me. Look, I talk about implicit bias a lot, right? This right here, I think, is another example. Now, why was this young black teen assumed to be a criminal? And why, I think, did this guy assume the same people who broke into his car might have also been black or related? I don't know. But I do know this. There are white teens that can also be criminals, and they can also do really stupid things, like break into cars. I was a teenager once, not saying that I did that, but I did some questionable things when I was younger. Things that I'm not proud of. But, see, here's the thing. This is about our biases. Like I mentioned before, I think we need to be more cognizant of how we perceive people who are different. Be it skin color, or in this case, skin color and mental illness. I think those are two things that we tend to have a bias of. And if we do that, well, then we help make the world a little bit better and a more understanding place. And that's really the goal here. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.